peeps, and welcome to Peeping At. In this episode we're going to be covering King Under the Mountain. If you enjoy games like RimWorld and Prison Architect, it's using that Prison Architect engine by Introversion Games, but in this game it's all about dwarves living under the mountain. King Under the Mountain is a very early development game. It's being solo worked on by a developer who has recently gone full-time on the project, as he has had lots of support via a Kickstarter, and you can still contribute to this project should you like what you see here today. All the details about the website, where you can donate to the game, but also where you can actually pick up a copy of the current under development version of the game, is all in the description below. I highly recommend that you do check out the title if you like these types of games. So without further ado, let's jump under the mountain. Some of the features that I really like is that it has a day-night cycle, and it also has this lovely season cycle where we can see the trees go to autumn colours and then they lose their leaves for winter, unless they're an evergreen, which always are fresh and green all year round, which is a really nice feature. So I have been taking time to build a Dwarven base, and we're just going to go this way because we've done a lot of mining of resources and whatnot, and then what I've tried to do is build something that might be considered Dwarven. So you get a lot of RimWorld style bases where we have lots of square rooms, but I thought, you know, Lord of the Rings, let's go Dwarven. So I've tried to have like a really big open space, and we've got these massive columns, and then I've tried to use the space accordingly. So I thought what we would do is and I've also built an outdoor area, because you can of course build outdoors as well, and we'll look over that in a little bit, but I thought we might actually have a look through the different things that you can do with this game currently. And we've got our little dwarves here, and they all just the artwork on these are really lovely. You can zoom in really close look, and we get such lovely dwarven looks. They're all so different and unique, which is something that I do really like. But at the moment, they don't really have hunger needs or any kind of needs at all. They are just sort of pawns that move around. But, you know, like I say, it's in very early development, so I'm sure that will come in time. But we can see here that they have a name, what they're doing, and what's in their inventory, and this sort of business. And at the moment, they do seem to have predetermined jobs. You can see here, this one is a hunter, and then I know that we have some that are miners, and the miners, which I really like, that looks like possibly a miner here. Yeah, they've got like this little lantern on their head, and you can see that he has a little light aura around him. So when he's mining, we've got another one over here, they do shine a little light. So I like that detail. It's a very nice little detail, and I'm sure that again in the future, hopefully we'll be able to determine who does what job, but for now they do seem to be fairly preset. Just because I guess it's about getting all the different aspects of the game in place and then worrying about those little details later, right? So what we have is it's broken up in two zones. So we've got orders here, so we can go mining. So these here are different ores that you can mine. There's gems and metals. You can see how I've mined all sorts of stuff, and this red stuff here, this is your iron. So we could say, hey, why don't we mine here, look, we could mine this here, so we could just pop that there to mine, and if we sped that up, they would come along and mine this out. And then we've got the same, you see here it flashes here to see what they're currently working on. We can chop trees, we can also clear bushes and this sort of thing, and we can see here, look, as nighttime comes, they've got like this little light, and you have the same on your cursor. Isn't that nice? So you can see where you're pointing in the dark. And here we are. Oh, this is actually a gem, look. Okay, I thought this was like the iron, but it's not. It looked a lot like the iron, but it's not. There you go. So this is a gem. that we've mined out here, and then they carry them off, which is nice. He's just sleeping outdoors. Why not? So then what they do once you've given them orders is that we have different zones. And this zone here, so we have metalworks. I've made this area here metalworks. So the idea is that you would zone the area as you wish, and you can remove these tiles as well. So you can see here that I have zoned an area here, and then once you've zoned an area, if you can then add furniture. And you can see here it does say placeholder smelter, placeholder smithy, and we also have lanterns and small tables, and you can select which materials you have in stock that you would like to make it out of, right? So you can do that. And I have made some placeholder smithy benches and also some smelters. But what I've done here is I've used some kitchen stuff and change the zones out, and I'll show you in a moment exactly what that means. Here we have zones, we have stockpiles, so we can make resources, tools, granaries and pantries at the moment, and you can't control currently what specifically is stored in them. So this one is a tools one, which I've put by the smithy because it makes sense, right? It makes sense. And you can see here that they've made buckets and chisels and things like that. We've got some saws, and I'm sure that at some point in the future they'll be able to control what's there. This here is just a resource area, and this is where we can see the detail that goes into all the different things that are happening. So we can see here that they've made buckets, and they make these barrels as well. When they're making these barrels, they take these ingots and they turn them into these barrel hoops, but then they also need to take lumber, turn it into planks, and then they can turn it into barrel staves, and then using these they can produce things like cauldrons and these water barrels as well. They also produce these buckets because what will happen is our little dwarves will run out here and they'll come to the river's edge and refill their they'll fill up their buckets and bring them to these barrels because they need barrels of water to do cooking and stuff like that, which is really, really nice. But I also thought that it made sense for them to have water in the smithery, right? So what you can do, and this is a detail that I quite like, is that even though you are effectively restricted to zoning, it's quite flexible in that I could remove a zone here. We could grab the kitchen, which is where the water barrels are, add a kitchen tile there, and then I am free to say, hey, you know what, I want a water barrel just here, and you can plonk that in. But as you can see here, we can't put water barrels in different zones or even outside of zones. Like this is not a zone at all, so you are restricted to those zones. That's how it sort of decides what goes where. You also have, look, here's a different room here, the bedroom. So we can see here that we have beds, lanterns and small tables. Again, it's limited on what furniture is available at the moment, but I'm sure more and more will be added over time. We can see here, look, we've got some more gems available here, and they do sleep in these beds, which is really nice. So these beds, I've put all these little bedrooms just off to the side, and in my mind I decided I would put like these little water barrels in so they can have a wash in the morning. But again, it's just a kitchen tile inside the bedroom area so that I could have like their own little thing here. The kitchen, so you can see here that we have these kitchen tables, which is where they put the goods. These bits here, sweet corn, potatoes and hops and stuff like that, and then they use water in these goods to boil up food. And you can see here that's a carrot and tomato soup that they're making there, and then they grab bowls and they sit at the table and eat. Over here, this room, I've used the Masonry Workshop, which has the Stonemasons Bench, and this is where they come and they turn all the rock that we put out, so these ones here, into these stone blocks, which is what allows them to make all these walls, and we'll demonstrate this a little bit later as well. And we can see here as well that they also cut the gems and stuff like that. We've got coal, so they can chisel all those out and use them. So that's really nice. So I've also built an outdoor area, just to show that you can also do stuff outside. So they have these lovely farming lots here, look, where they grow also. So this is the hops plants here that they're working on, and we've got barley. Over here we've got the tomato plant. We've got carrots, and I like that some of the wild bushes, they tend to have little fruits on as well. At the moment you can't do anything with these fruits, but I've noticed that there's a couple of different kinds. I think there's a different one just out here somewhere. Yeah, look at these ones. So I'm thinking at some point in the future you'll be able to harvest these sort of wild fruits as well, which I think will be really, really lovely. Oh, we've got some more down here. Look, we've got some wheat, potatoes, corn. And this is them in the process of building walls, which I'd like to show you a little bit more in detail. But here's some outdoor walls finished with some doors in. At the moment, plants do seem to grow indoors, and we don't quite yet have floors, but I've been told the floors are coming, along with roofs. Apparently, I've heard that roofs will be a thing in the future as well, so you'll be able to view them, I guess, with and without roofs, I assume. That'll be interesting to see, to look at. And I've been building this external wall. So I've been building, as you can see, we've got an enclosed area from mountains that I've been trying to build, so that we can have like this little area. And I plan to make a nice gate area, as you can see here, with the entrance to the caved area. I've done like this crazy big wall thing going on. So this here is where they keep all their seeds for planting, and then this over here is all the food that is coming from the fields that they are harvesting. And again, I've just put random barrels around and stuff like that, just because I like them. I think they look nice. And you can see here, this here is the zone is called a feasting hall. So in I've used it here to put these really big stone tables and chairs for them to eat at. But out here I've made like little houses. As you can see here, I've made like a farmhouse, which is all about, you know, and look, they're in bed. Look, he's in bed. So that, you know, like he's looking after the farms, and he's got a big kitchen to cook lots of food, so he has a big dining room. And then over here I've made it so that they chop down the trees, and this is the carpenter's house in my mind. And so one of the rooms that we have here is the Carpentry Workshop. So we've got a sawmill and a carpentry workshop. So we have a carpenter's bench, and then over here I've created a separate building, and this is the sawmill. So this is where they will take all their different, so we've got oak here, and we've got some pine logs, and you can see they look different, which I really like. We've got fir ones here. Can you see how they all look completely? Shall we make this daytime? Let's go fast forward. So you can see here we've got the different types of wood look different even in log form. I really like that detail. That's nice. And then when they take them to the sawmill and they turn them into planks, and you can see here again that the planks look different as well. So that's really, really lovely. And then it's on these carpentry benches that they might make what are they called? These staves for these barrels down here, right? They make these sort of carpentry workbenches and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's got some lovely detail in that respect. And the build mode at the moment, we only have walls and doors. We only have walls and doors, and I think all these sort of do the same. You can see they don't, at the moment, they don't look any different. But it'll be interesting to see how this produces it in the future. But at the moment, they all seem to sort of look the same as far as I can tell. And at the moment, you have to cancel all these one by one, which is not great either. But again, I'm sure with more development that we'll be able to counsel on. Mass, I'm pretty sure actually the developer mentioned something about this in the Discord. He does have a Discord. He's very active in the Discord, and he seems very receptive to ideas and discussing you know, what people would like to see from the game in the future. He also talks a lot about the things that he would like to implement into the game and seeks a lot of feedback. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in this game, checking out his Discord. I'll make sure there are links in the description below, but likewise you can also go to the website kingunderthemountain.in, where there's links to all the social media and all that sort of interest. There's even a roadmap there and regular news, and you can, in the news section, actually download whatever version he is currently has out for people to play on, so you can actually grab it right for yourself right now. Look, they're carrying little blocks around, hauling sandstone block. Look at that. So you can actually download a copy now and have a fiddle with the version that he is currently running, and just see the game for yourself. You know, have a play. My dwarves have pretty much built everything that's going on here. There's not a lot happening, but I highly recommend that you check them out and see them like smelt these little blocks, and use all these items. Here's the farm plots. Yeah, so look, the farm plot. So if we could put down a farm plot, and then we can actually pick here what we want it to be. So we can say, hey, let's have some more tomatoes, and we can see them come over here and start working on it. But they seem to be building the walls I temporarily built here. So stop that. They'll put them all away in a minute. They've come into action. Look, they're going to build the farm. He is also at time of recording, if you do really enjoy the game and you like the direction this game is moving in, he also has a way to continue to fund, even though the Kickstarter has now come to an end. On his website, again, you can donate money to get a final copy of the game when it's complete, but also support the project so that it grows. It's got a lot of followers. There's a lot of passionate people involved with its development who are very keen on the title. I recommend that you do check it out and see what you think, and if you like it, do support the project. So that is it. Yeah, that is King Under the Mountain. It's RimWorld, but with dwarves. So if you like the sound of that, why not go and check it out? And if you enjoy the game, support the project. And the developer has recently gone from part-time working on this game to full-time, so we should be able to see moving forwards lots more updates and maybe even larger content being added to the updates moving forwards. It should be pretty exciting. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, please hit that like button. As long as you are here, why not check out one of my delectable videos available? Feel free to come stalk me on social media, and be sure to share this video with friends so even more may watch my schizwa. See you next time, peeps.